So we were looking at all options. Do we further expand staff? And it really came down to throwing more man hours at it really wasn't a long-term solution. It was automation. We have some connections that are set up through EDI, and on the procurement side for Eastwood, we have a ton that are set up through EDI, and we wanted to get there eventually too. But so many of our B2B customers are not EDI set up yet, and maybe never will be, just from the volume that they do, the cost. And like I said, we do a lot of international business. Brian's tool, what it offered was the answer. I work with Eastwood as the director of B2B sales. Been in this role the last 12 months. Moved over here from the product team, where I spent the first 2 years managing all of our national brands and working those negotiations and those relationships with those manufacturers. This in the sales role, it's been a big change of pace for me, but being a merchandise buyer for the 10 years prior has been a huge aid for me in this new role. I work directly with our product team and our CEO, and then my team, to sell the Eastwood products, all the brands that we own, to our B2B customers domestically and internationally.
How'd you get into the industry? That's what I want people to know.
My father worked in this industry his whole life. I grew up in the shop with him and raced go-karts at a young age, and fell in love with motorsports. Specifically fell in love with the sport of NASCAR. National Trail Raceway was right down the road from where I grew up. Wanted to pursue a career as a mechanic in my teenage years. After I graduated high school, I literally picked up my belongings and the little bit of money I had, and I moved from Ohio to Mooresville, North Carolina. Knocked on the right doors. Was fortunate enough to work at Hendrick Motorsports and work for, hands down, in my opinion, the best car owner, drivers, crew chiefs, mechanics, in the history of the sport, and won a lot of races, won several championships, and definitely lived my dream job. Being in that environment for 10 plus years, where I really, rooted myself with a good work ethic. Get to the top is very hard work, but to stay up there is even harder, and you've got to put in the extra hours, the extra effort. There's so many things that people don't see behind the scenes in that sport, and I think that's helped me through the last 10 years of my career on this side of the industry, buying and selling and managing products that racers and mechanics use every day.
You're going to launch a B2B sales channel. What were some of the challenges you started to bump into, and how did you find your way to MidwayPlus?
Early on, I think some of the challenges are probably those that most people in the automotive aftermarket see day to day. The manual work, manual labor, whether it's emailing orders over, receiving email orders, invoices, et cetera. So wanted to try to make our team more efficient from day one. We were looking for services, tools, resources to help us become more efficient with a smaller team that we have. So we were looking at all options. Do we further expand staff? And it really came down to throwing more man hours at it really wasn't a long-term solution. It was automation. We have some connections that are set up through EDI, and on the procurement side for Eastwood, we have a ton that are set up through EDI, and we wanted to get there eventually too. But so many of our B2B customers are not EDI set up yet, and maybe never will be, just from the volume that they do, the cost. And like I said, we do a lot of international business. Brian's tool, what it offered was the answer. It checked all the boxes of what we needed for customers in the States, customers in Canada, Australia, UK, wherever they may be, and onboarding customers, because we were trying to grow the channel. So we also get requests from customers every day wanting to have a quote unquote B2B or wholesale account. So the portal allows us to filter out those requests. They have to go through a pre-screening procedure that gives us data back on that customer to review. So Brian's team's done a lot of the pre-screening setup. The information we get, we can see who the customer is, where they are, what industries they serve, what capabilities they have on site. Do they stock product? Do they have lifts? Do they have a chassis dyno? All those things that help us understand the legitimacy and the level of service that they offer to customers at the end of the day. There's so many tools within MidwayPlus that go beyond the ordering process that really seem to just make it, a good fit for Eastwood and where we're headed. Whether it's a customer that is already a buyer in the portal, they want to have permission to buy the Eastwood brand, or it's a customer I meet at a trade show, or who who calls in to the B2B team, we can onboard them as a customer and give them a unique customer ID in minutes through the portal. Immediately, they have access to buy the products based on the approval from Eastwood. It's that quick. It's just a simple email introduction. They go through the process. They set up the account. There's a lot of work that Brian's team handles that takes some workload off of other departments here. Taxes, for one. They review and approve all tax-exempt certificates for customers. That burden now falls off of my accounting department, and they'll send out automated alerts to myself and to the customer of your tax-exempt certificate's going to expire at the end of the year. Further take workload, like I said, off of other departments within Eastwood. Outside of just order entry, there's a lot of other things behind the scenes that they handle that just increase the value of the tool that they offer.
So you're saving man hours across departments.
Yeah. The biggest impact it's had on the sales team has been the time saved from getting away from those manual orders being entered into allowing us to have more time to sit down with our customers and meet with them on a plan for growth for 2024 and beyond. Just that time, that invaluable time of understanding where can we grow with our customers? What do they need from us? What can we offer that has been freed up by using the MidwayPlus tool?
Yeah, it sounds like your service time for your sales team has now been translated back into growth time. Now they have an opportunity to grow these accounts instead of just manage.
Correct. 100%.
And so I would assume that adding additional staff was not necessary then.
Correct. It was that's absolutely correct. I see the benefit from both sides. Obviously, working on the sales channel here, I see the benefit, just the tools within the portal, the dashboard to monitor sales by region, by customer, by SKU, by category, back orders, the basics are there. But it goes beyond that to where I could easily put an order in for a customer if the customer is having issues with an internet connection. If they were traveling and they wanted to place an order, or at a show next week, we'll be at PRI. If I have a customer there and they want to place an order, I can easily log into their account, put an order there with them, on the spot and take care of them.
On your phone.
Customer on my phone. Yeah. For example, if you have 200 customers, none of them are set up on EDI, or you have a fraction of them are, the portal allows them to make purchases and monitor back orders and put in a request for a return or a cancel PO so much easier than through email or through a phone call. The tool goes beyond just what it can do for the manufacturers. It's for the manufacturer's customers. Whether they want to place an order for 10 items or 100 items, the time frame is still the same. They can copy and paste from an Excel sheet the SKU and the quantity and upload it and create their PO. It's all so seamless and easy to use.
When they have real-time inventory.
Real-time inventory. Yeah. And our customers who are using the portal on a regular basis have really loved and raved about the simplicity of placing an order, especially the inventory, seeing that, because we do have customers, like I mentioned, in Australia and the UK and Canada. They'll buy very, very large quantities of some of the consumables we have. So they'll go in and they can see how many we have, and they can adjust their order based on that. And that's something beforehand they wouldn't have gotten. If they would have sent us a purchase order format beforehand via email, and it's got 97 line items on it, we've got to report back to them what's in stock, what's not. Now they can see that all themselves, and they can place an order, and they can choose to have an item back ordered or not. All the things that just take out the emails back and forth, the phone calls back and forth, they free up the time for those communications to be more worthwhile on growing business. Like I said, I can't say enough great things about the tool and what they offer, the solutions that they bring to the problems that I was certainly facing, and I'm sure that numerous other manufacturers are facing as well. Beyond that, they have phenomenal customer service on their end. Brian and his team, Greg and Steve, they all do a phenomenal job of answering the phone, answering the email, taking care of not just me, but my customers when and if an issue comes up. They've got a great tool, but they have even better customer service, and that's all you can ask for.